since 2010, 2011. As we take a look at some of those impressive marks, and there it is, 55-12, 26th road victory of the year, Michael. And that ties an OKC record for most road wins in the season going back to 2013. And this one on the back end of that win on Wednesday against the Boston Celtics is SGA signing some autographs for some eager OKC SGA fans here after this one. But this game, it had a lot of motion. It was intense. And the Thunder coming out in a tough environment. The crowd got pretty cranked up there in the second half. But once again, it was the resolve of this Thunder team finding a way in the fourth quarter. Obviously, SGA, he's brilliant, but he wasn't the only one here tonight.
Wow. Were you not entertained? My goodness, folks. This was quite a game. I mean, you talk about, the playoff implications for the Detroit Pistons. They understand they're in the playoff race in the Eastern Conference. So were the Celtics a couple of nights ago. They were in a playoff race, and to try to catch Cleveland. You knew these games were going to be tough. You knew this was going to be a difficult road trip. It started in Boston, and you come away with a hard-fought, gutsy win here in Detroit, where this game got physical, a lot of technicals, a lot of emotions, a lot of back and forth, and that game seemed like that fourth quarter lasted an entire half because of all of the energy and the time, the challenges that went on. I mean, and the Thunder held up to that, folks. You're talking about the youngest team in the association, just really playing like a savvy veteran. Everybody that stepped up, you lose Lou Dort, you don't hang your head down. You just continue to play. Kaysen Wallace steps up, Caruso steps up, Isaiah Joe steps up, and Kendrick coming in, getting the start tonight, no Chet Holmgren, and everybody just stepping up, really just showing a lot of fight and grit. And they came away with the W tonight, folks. And as Chris mentioned, the double nickel. 55 wins on the season.
Well, the Thunder stick to their DNA, the defense, which has been part of their calling card all season long, stepping up. They had to go through some difficult stretches. The Pistons, they kind of took control of this game in the second quarter, but this was another great defensive performance by OKC against a much improved Pistons offense. And a Pistons offense, Michael, that is so good at getting up and down the floor.
Well, I thought when the Pistons got that double-digit lead in the first half, their defense stepped up and took that away quickly because you got 11 steals, you force 17 turnovers, and you get 21 points. And how about this? Tremendous weak side blocks. And then you get out in transition. The Thunder had 15 points in transition tonight. You were very, just very focused, I thought, tonight, despite, the stoppage and the reviews and the technicals. They stayed focused and reminded themselves, this is a business trip.
All right, for those of you watching on Griffin Media and Tulsa, stay tuned for your local news. For those of you watching on FanDuel Sports Network, we got the post-game show for you on Thunder Live coming up.
3-game road trip, and boy, did we have fireworks inside of Little Caesars Arena. So much action, so much emotion, and a lot of back and forth down the stretch, but ultimately, it was some big-time shot-making and some late-game heroics that gave the Thunder the 113-107 victory over the Pistons. As we welcome you back inside of Little Caesars Arena and into Thunder Live postgame, I'm Paris Lawson. And before the game, we heard Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault. He said, look, the Detroit Pistons, if you just break down their season over the last 10 or 15 games, they're one of the best teams in the league on both ends of the floor. So this is going to be a physical game, and this is going to be a challenging game. And this game was as advertised on both ends of the floor. I'm going to add another adjective in here. Very emotional. There wasn't a ton of rhythm. It was hard to get any sort of rhythm out here on the floor because of the 5 technical fouls, the challenges that were out here. But the Thunder, a great job, great resilience, great poise, great execution, and some incredible depth put on display in this game for the Thunder to pick up win number 55 this season. All right, let's bring in Chris Fisher and Michael Cage, the voices on tonight's call. Guys, there was a whole lot of action between the technicals, between the challenges, the delays right out of halftime. There was so much that could have derailed the Thunder, but they came out on top, obviously.
Yeah, Paris, all those adjectives that you laid out, they were appropriate because this game entailed a lot of different elements, a lot of different components over the course of the game, Michael. But again, in the fourth quarter and in the second half, really, through all that stuff that the Thunder could have been distracted by, they found a way down the stretch. So many different guys stepping up and making plays.
Well, it was one of those games that it felt like almost like a playoff game, moment by moment, the delays, as you said. But the Thunder didn't get distracted. This game was exhausting, but they didn't get exhausted, if you can follow me on that. They stuck with the business at hand, which was good, solid defense, keeping the Pistons out of transition, getting into transition yourself. The Thunder had, 11 steals tonight. You like those kind of numbers. The 8 blocks, trust me, all 8 of them were massive. They were game-turning. And you like the fact, too, that you were able to get, to the free throw line more than the Pistons. They're like 9 short of you. And then when it came down to it, it was just a gritty of a game. Where you just say, look, just stay focused. There's a lot going on here. You know what? We just got to remind ourselves what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish as they get, win number 55. This was a hard-fought battle about as much as it was a couple of nights ago with that big win in Boston.
Yeah, with so many guys out, too, Paris. This Thunder team digging deep, finding a way. Different guys stepping up.
Yeah, to your point, Chris, obviously no Jalen Williams continues to be out for the Thunder. No Chet Holmgren tonight. No Aaron Wiggins. And so a guy that saw some extended role in this game tonight, how about Aaron Wiggins, Michael Cage? How about Cason Wallace, Michael Cage? A guy who steps into the starting lineup for the Thunder. He's coming off an incredible game against the Boston Celtics on Wednesday. Comes into this game, has a season-high 20 points.
Well, Paris, you got to remind yourself sometimes when you see him play, this is just his second year, folks. And he's taken one big shot after another and not afraid to go in there with contact because, the Pistons, man, they're a very physical team. And he just continues to show his gifts. He's not just a defensive player. He's not just a setup guy. When you call his number, he can deliver. And that's hard to really consistently get from a second-year man. But the Thunder have trusted him. He's developed, and he continues to make big plays. He hit another big, massive 3 tonight, besides a lot of the, around-the-basket layups that he had. There it is right there, folks. That is just a big bucket by a second-year man that you love to see on a night where you had, Paris, a lot of guys missing.
Yeah, the Thunder's depth continues to be on display, and they're going to need it even more tomorrow because this road trip continues. The Thunder going to head out to Milwaukee and face the 3rd team in the Eastern Conference in the top 6 in 3 consecutive games. So a really challenging stretch here for the Thunder that continues against the Bucks tomorrow, Chris.
Yeah, another playoff team. This Detroit Pistons team currently 6th. The Milwaukee Bucks just a little bit higher, and they've been very good, not just this year, but really over the last couple of years, Paris, because of the personnel that they have. They're, of course, coached by Doc Rivers. They've got Giannis. The Milwaukee Bucks are an incredibly deep team that can present plenty of problems, Michael, because of all the different things that they can do. We know that the Thunder met Milwaukee all the way back in Las Vegas for the in-season tournament. The Thunder, they're a different team now. They've grown tremendously over the last couple of months, but nonetheless, it sets up a good matchup.
Well, you get a big victory here tonight, and here's a team that was chasing the Milwaukee Bucks. And anytime you play the Milwaukee Bucks, you got to deal with a couple of guys. Besides their record, they're right now happy that they're 4th in the East, looking to improve upon that. You deal with the 3-point shooting for Milwaukee. That's Damian Lillard's, forte. And you look at how they're scoring. I mean, this is a high-scoring team, one of the highest-scoring duo in the league between Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. So you have to get past those two. And that's going to be the real focus for the Thunder is can you slow those guys down while at the same time get out in transition like they did tonight against the Pistons.
Yeah, look at that 3-point shooting percentage, second best in the NBA. 8 o'clock tip time. Thunder Live. We'll get you going at 7:30 right here on FanDuel Sports Network. The Thunder and the Bucks from Milwaukee, back end of a back-to-back. It's the second to last back-to-back of the season, Paris. Hard to believe, but it'll be the final road game of the season against a team from the Eastern Conference.
Second to last back-to-back, Chris, but who's counting? Yeah, not me. Definitely not. All right, Chris and Mike, thank you so much as always. We appreciate it. All right, stick with us here on Thunder Live because we broke down the overarching themes of this game, but one guy we got to talk about